Let me bring on Chris Broussard because we got some incredible NFL stuff. Come on in, Chris. I've got a Green Bay Packers story I've got to get to before the end of the hour. All right, so let's start with OKC. So you've been covering this league a long time.
Look how excited you are.
Whoa.
How happy you are that they're not playing well.
That is not true, Chris. I am smiling because the holiday season and our great veterans are here. That is why I'm smiling. But I said this earlier. Listen, some of these super teams, by the way, that Houston Rockets super team, remember Barkley went down there and Pippen? We have this idea they all work. They don't all work.
Great point, and I think that's what people have to recognize during this super team era. Look, it's good news for the rest of the league that you shouldn't just be dead set on getting as many stars as you can. San Antonio is a great team. When they won it in 2014, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker were past their prime.
Yeah.
They weren't the stars they used to be.
They were super old.
Exactly. But the pieces fit. You mentioned, Barkley, Drexler, and Olajuwon didn't win a championship. Then Pippen replaced Drexler. They still didn't. They went out in the first round. Look at the Clippers. You had a top 5 center in DeAndre Jordan, a top 5 power forward in Blake Griffin, a top 5 point guard in Chris Paul.
And chemistry was always an issue.
Yeah, you can't. I had Jerry West on my podcast yesterday.
How was that?
He was good. He's the logo. He's always great. But he said we know he played with Wilt Chamberlain and Elgin Baylor. Okay.
And Gail Goodrich.
They didn't win a championship. They played 4 years together. Then Baylor got hurt and retired, and they won it.
So they had too many mouths to feed.
Yeah, it's just, he was like, sometimes teams don't fit together. Golden State was great before Kevin Durant, right? So let's just look at them now they have super talent, yes. But before Kevin Durant, when they were running through the league, Draymond's a second-round pick. Klay Thompson, nobody thought he'd be like a superstar. Steph was a lottery pick that people had questions about. But they were a great team because the pieces fit and the system was great.
Yeah, that's not a
that's
super
how you
team.
Build a team.
They really initially were super shooters and super chemistry.
Yes.
They weren't highly
But they still were winning, 73 games?
So, I mean, here's a throwaway to you. Let's say at the All-Star break, this thing just doesn't look great. And in the end, Paul George leaves, you get nothing. What if the Lakers are like, you can get nothing for him, or we'll give you a couple pieces for him? I mean, would OKC trade Paul George at the deadline knowing we're getting nothing for him? He's going to walk out of town. We're going to get nothing.
Well, at first, we're making a big assumption to think they're going to be struggling at the deadline. I mean, it's just like we're giving patience with Lonzo. We do have to have a little bit of patience. I mean, it's tough for 3 guys who've been the center of their teams for their whole careers. They're isolation players. It's tough to bring that together. When LeBron and Kyrie first joined forces, they were 5 and 7. Yeah. When LeBron and Miami, they were 9 and 8. So it takes a little time. But hypothetically, if they're struggling, if I'm the Lakers, here's what I'm thinking. I'm getting Paul George anyway. I'm not giving up anything for him. He's coming anyway. So if I want to get rid of Julius Randle, I'll just trade him for something else. But I don't remember, they didn't want to deal with Indiana because they were confident they would get Paul George. So now if they continue to struggle in Oklahoma, they're going to be that much more confident we're getting him. And if they didn't give up anything to get him from Indiana, I don't see them doing it with Oklahoma.
By the way, I watched Cleveland last night, and they got crushed on the boards. They didn't have Tristan Thompson. But it always takes LeBron about 3 weeks to figure everything out. I mean, if you just put LeBron in any team in the league, it took him 3 weeks. When he got back to Cleveland, it took him 3 weeks.
Yep.
I watched Cleveland last night, and even though they lost, I was like, okay, put Isaiah Thomas in the mix, they'd be good.
Well, one thing I thought was good was that small lineup with LeBron, Crowder, J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, and Jeff Green.
They moved.
Really played well. Like you said, they didn't rebound, but you hit it on the head. It's not just LeBron figuring everything out. It's players adjusting to LeBron. He is a tough guy to adjust playing with because he does everything.
Right. Swiss Army knife, 6'9" Swiss Army knife.
And it varies from possession to possession. He may be bringing it up as a point guard one possession. Next possession, he's in the post. Next possession, he's on the wing.
Kevin Love said it took him a year to figure out how to play with LeBron.
Yes.
He goes, I knew he was great, and I knew it was on me, not him, Because he's not going to figure out how to play.
You think it's going to be easy because he's a passer and he's great and all that, but it's not.
No, it's not. So let's go back. So I'm sitting there watching. Maybe I'm talking too much, but about this. Well, I always talk too much, but I'm watching Lonzo Ball, and he missed an open three from the corner, and it was like high school bad. It like one of those where it hits the wrong part of the iron, and you're like, oh, that's. What about to Kristine's point that right now it's in his head? He's long, he's quick, he's got vision. What about this? Could you not start him for a week?
Oh, that would make it worse.
Okay, it would.
And I think that would screw with his head even more. I do. And I do think, though, his dad, the pressure, I do think his dad's ended up putting a lot of pressure on him. I think there have been positives. I think with the marketing, I think it's I said this yesterday on Speak for Yourself. I think you can make a strong argument. He may have not gotten drafted number 2 if his dad was just a normal dad. We didn't even know who LeVar Ball was.
Well, he got worked by De'Aaron Fox when they played each other.
The Lakers would have taken. I'm not saying they definitely would have. We'll never know. But his dad hyped him up so much.
He became a topic.
Yes, you had to take him number 2, especially with him being from LA.
I remember when he was available, we're like, Lonzo, Lakers, Lonzo Ball, big ball. And we're like, it kind of fits. And by the way, the Lakers didn't like their point guard.
Yeah.
But it was a point guard heavy draft. No, I mean, your sources, like my guys, I always, about every third night, I'm like, what are you thinking? They're like, listen, he's got 3 traits you can't teach, and I like him. He is shot above the shoulders right now shooting the ball.
Yeah, I do think it's mental. Anytime you're constantly missing shots, it's going to be mental. You see here, he's missing wide open shots.
Yep.
I also think, though, part of it, too, because you hear
look at
him.
that one. God, that was awful. Oh, my God, that was terrible. Not to mock a professional athlete, that's...
Well, one thing, too, it's not as simple as saying, oh, he shot it well in college, he shot it well in high school. The speed of the game is so much different. So you often see guys who shot well in college not be able to shoot well in the pros because now you have to shoot quicker.
Yeah.
And even when you're open, you're hearing footsteps, so to speak. So you have to shoot a lot quicker where you used to be able to square up, take your time. He's got a slow release as it is. So he may be having to shoot a lot quicker because the athleticism is so much better. Although here, you see he's got wide open space.
Oh, God, that was awful. That was just terrible.
I'll say this, though, for the kid. The things, like you said, the things you can't teach, and he's a point guard. He's like almost a throwback point guard. His assists are good. His turnovers are low.
His steals are good.
He's doing a lot of things you want from a point guard. And Jason Kidd, I know he said it's a stretch. Their numbers, though, from their rookie year are virtually identical.
I know. Nobody wants to say that, but they are.
So, I think you just got to give the kids some time.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for watching. We want you to subscribe here, to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the herd, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.